Good afternoon, Anne. It's good to see you.
What's up, Kade Boyd?
How are you? How's
I'm doing all
Kansas this
right.
morning?
Kansas is great, actually. We're having some really amazing weather. It's like the high is like 66 today, I think.
Oh, that's awesome. That sounds
Yes,
lovely.
it is nice. It's concerning because it's January and we usually have a lot of snow days in January. So, you know, kind of off, but it's still,
Well,
it's nice, How's the weather out there?
rain. It's just rain
Yeah,
and rain.
well,
Pouring down
pretty,
rain for days.
pretty
But
sure what's that term in law school? You moved to the nuisance. You What's that term?
I don't
You
know.
remember? Torts?
Oh,
Did you?
right. You moved to the nuisance, right? Or like
Yeah.
you yeah, I know what you're talking about. It's the one about the lights, right?
Yeah.
They moved to the house. They moved into a house and their neighbors had all those lights that were like shining or something, or the movie theater or something.
Was that it? I wish I still had my torts book now.
I don't.
You just really get heavy into that.
Yeah, it's kind of like an attractive nuisance, but just a nuisance. Anyway, that's not why we're here, Anne. We're here to talk about you and your run for Senate.
Yes.
So, Anne, you and I went to college together. We went to college in Arkansas, Lyon
We
College,
did. Batesville, Arkansas.
Batesville, Arkansas. And I don't really know what you did after college, except for I know that you ended up a lawyer
Yeah.
and now you're running
Yeah.
running for Senate, and I'd kind of like to hear about that.
Yeah. So I went to undergrad. I studied history was my major, political science minor, and I got a secondary education concentration. So I was planning to teach. Um, and I didn't get the first teaching job that I applied for. And I was like, well, maybe I don't want to teach then. Uh, so I got a job at a law firm and started studying for the LSAT, and that's what I did for that year right out of college. I actually lived with Gretchen and LaDonna. We lived in an apartment together, which was actually one of the most fun years of my life. We
Yeah.
didn't do anything. We just were there. Like that's it. Um, so yeah, so studied, took the LSAT, got a pretty good score on that. I got into actually a lot of law schools. I got into Seton Hall, I got into Loyola in Chicago, Hofstra in New York. Did not go to any of them because that was scary. And it turned out great actually because I waited about I think I waited like 3 years before I started law school, and I just went to University of Arkansas at Little Rock. Um, Turns out you can get a law degree a lot cheaper if you just go to Euler, and you're still a lawyer after. So good for me. I didn't have the bills that I might have had if I had gone to some of the other places. So
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that.
oh, well, sounds like you made the wrong choice.
I guess so. So how did you end up in Kansas?
In Kansas, yes. So when I was in my last year of law school, I was on Match.com actually, and Nikhil had come down from Kansas City to do a postdoc at University of Arkansas Medical School in Little Rock. And we met on Match.com, and as it was done, it was a done deal after that. We kind of both knew that we were going to be together, and that's the steps that we took. And actually, 2 weeks after I met him, he came to me and he said, I got an offer doing my dream job, cancer research at KU, but if you don't want me to go, I'll stay. And I was like, I have known you for 2 weeks, so you should probably go. Uh, but we stayed together, and I ended up moving up to Prairie Village, Kansas, actually in 2011. That's when we got married. Um, and yeah, been here. I moved across state line to KC Mo for about 2 or 3 years, and then we came over to Overland Park after we had our first child. So
And you've got two kids.
two kids. One just turned 8 and one is about to turn 10. And they are both in the public school here and amazing, amazing children. I
Do you,
can't say enough good things about them. I mean, I'm biased, but
what
they're amazing.
But I think, you're really growing roots in Kansas and you're there to stay.
I love Kansas. I can't imagine raising my kids anywhere else. I can't imagine. When I first moved up, of course, I missed home and I missed like all of my friends back at home and my family. And for a while I wanted to go back, but now I would never choose another place. I absolutely love it here. They're great people. They're good schools. My kids love it. Obviously, they were born here, and so they don't know anything else as home. So they don't want to move. They love all of their friends and family here. So yeah, so it's absolutely home. It absolutely is, and I love it.
And so does that mean that if you were to become a US senator, you wouldn't be moving to Florida?
I will not move to Florida. I don't think I'll move to Florida at all. Considering Florida these days. No offense to Florida, because I did have that. Like, I think every like young person in Arkansas dreams of moving to Florida. Like that's like it's tropical, right? Like it's like, oh, beaches and stuff like that. Um, but no, I have no intentions of going anywhere else, certainly not to Florida. Um, I'll be in Kansas. We don't want to go anywhere.
So speaking of Kansas and your run for Senate, I kind of want to talk about how you got here. You and I have been friends and we chat almost every day. Um, and I've seen you get madder and madder and madder. And I think people need to hear about that, about what got you into this race to begin with.
I love this country. I've always loved it. I grew up, my first concert was actually Lee Greenwood. And I still love that song. And it's a shame that he made a second version for Canada. It really dilutes the feeling behind it. I was kind of heartbroken when I found that out. But he's not my favorite person anymore. So whatever. But I grew up loving this country. We said the Pledge of Allegiance every day. Um, I was a history major, studied a lot of American history. My ancestors actually served in the American Revolution. I just finished my application to become an official daughter of the American Revolution. There's an organization. And I'm super excited about that. And I'm super proud of it. And I love what this country stands for. I love what we were founded on. I love the idea that a people can live free, right? Like we can do what we want for the most part I mean, there's obviously laws that are in place to keep us all safe and keep society in order, but we still have free will, right? And so I was raised Presbyterian, and Presbyterians believe in free will. They believe that God knows all the choices that you will make, but you're allowed to make those choices yourself. They're not made for you. Um, so freedom has always been something that I value. And when I was in college, actually, one semester or one year, I served on the Student Government Association. I was the off-campus representative or whatever they're called. And I remember we had a conversation with Dr. Strickland. You remember him?
Mhm.
He was my advisor. He's a wonderful person. I still keep in touch with him some these days. But he was proposing a new grading scale for the school. And we had a meeting of all the Student Government Association with him where we were discussing this grading scale. And I remember everybody in that room just talking about how it was going to impact their grades. And of course, we're sitting in a room with a bunch of straight A students because that's who's involved in student government.
Was that when we were talking about adding pluses and minuses to the
So I
grading?
don't even remember.
Because
I
we
just,
only had A, B, C, D, and then we were going to do
is
like
that
A
what it
plus.
was?
It was something like
That must have been what it was.
I was on student government for 1 year, so yeah.
Was it the same year? You don't know. You don't remember that
I
conversation.
don't
You
remember
served
telling.
what you did a great job in SGA. Good for you. But I remember like just being angry because nobody was talking about how it was going to affect the people that they were actually sent there to represent. I only heard people talking about how it's going to impact themselves. And I was going to call it out, but Dr. Strickland ended up calling it out. And it was mad about that, but that was a group of students, right? Like that's a learning experience for us all. And it's young people, and you expect a lot more from your United States Congress people than you do from a student government association at an undergraduate school. So, whenever things started happening at the beginning of last year after this administration took over, I was calling my senators all the time to express to express how I felt about things. Um, and they were not very responsive. They didn't want to hear from people. I went out, I ended up going out to the Oakley Town Hall that Roger Marshall had because so many people from my area, and we got up at 3 o'clock to get there, but so many people from my area wanted to be there and couldn't. And so I took questions from people, and I was ready to ask not only the questions that I had, but the questions that they had. And when he got there, you could see that he was kind of not happy about the crowd size because it was meant to be a very small thing. He was not advertising it. We just happened to somehow get wind of it on Facebook. And so it ended up being a huge crowd. We actually had to move rooms because the room that we were supposed to have it in couldn't hold us all. And there were a lot of people that were upset with him there. And of course, he had planned on going and talking about how great Roger Marshall is and yada, 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 and just having people pat him on the back. But that's not what happened. And he couldn't handle any pushback from that crowd. He didn't want to hear from people that wanted to talk about things that weren't in favor of him, right? So we spent I some people said it was 38 minutes that he gave us. Some people say it's 40 minutes that he gave us, but we were promised an hour. And he ended up leaving early, right after a gentleman, and just a very respectful older gentleman. His name is Chuck Nunn. And if you've seen the video, you see him talking about our veterans and how Doge cuts are impacting them. And everybody in that room was ready to listen to Roger Marshall's answer, but he chose that moment to get up and leave. And I thought, if you can't even answer for what's happening to our veterans, what is wrong with you? You don't represent us, you don't serve us. And to me, it is an insult to every single person that was in that room that day, to every single Kansan, for him to ignore us. And then it went on from there. It wasn't even just that day that he ignored us. I also heard of people calling in to his office and they would ask, "Are you a Republican?" And if they weren't, he wouldn't even let the call last. Like his people said, "We don't want to hear from you."
So it sounds to me like Roger Marshall only represents the people who support Roger Marshall.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's something I appreciate about you is that you don't have ego. You don't have ego in this game, but you have skin in the game. And those
You
are
have so
two
much
very different two very different ways to approach this. So I just had something great to ask you about that slipped my mind. If you had been in Roger Marshall's position, how would you have handled that? How would you handle a group of people coming in and attacking you for what you were doing?
I actually met with a Republican sheriff. His name's Sheriff Eric Kirsch. Super, super good guy. Um, he serves the people. He's not about party loyalty, just which is how I am. And I really respect that. And he said, and I love what he said. He said that man should have rolled up his sleeve and said, "Let's figure this out." That's what I would do. Because these people, whether so there's so much misinformation out there, right? Like it's hard to tell what's true and what's not these days. But the people there were genuinely upset. They're genuinely worried about things. And you need to acknowledge that. And then if they shouldn't be worried, well, okay, let's look at why they shouldn't be. Or let them tell you why they are. Because you are there, you are sent to represent them. Whether they vote for you or not, whether they like you or not, you are meant to work for them. That is what our Constitution says. That is what it has always historically been, and that is what it should be. So if you disagree with me, if you're angry with me, I want to hear from you. I want to know how I can better serve you. Because if I'm not able to hear from you, if I'm not able to know who you are and what you need, then I can't serve you the way I'm supposed to.
Right. Because there's ways to make all of us live a good life. There's
Right,
ways that we can all prosper in America. That's what America has always been, is just like this land of opportunity, but you have to have the opportunity,
right,
available. So
right.
I that I kind of want you to talk about then why you chose to run as a Democrat. When I know you've been a registered Republican your whole life, and I know you're not really a party line kind of person. Um, was it was it so that you could just differentiate yourself, or is it because there's room in the race on the Democratic side, or
So
what's the thinking there?
I actually haven't always been a registered Republican. I was until probably I think the second time Obama ran. I actually voted for John McCain. And then did not like Mitt Romney. So I voted for Obama. And then after him, it was just there weren't very good options, right? So I felt forced to choose one side or the other. Like a lot of us did, we felt forced to choose and vote down party lines. And the Democrats were more in line with what I saw as being representative of all people, not just a certain group of people. I didn't like the rhetoric coming from the right. I found it antithetical to what we're supposed to be as a country. Uh, it's offensive. I know people get mad and when you're offended by stuff and you're a snowflake or whatever, but yeah, it is offensive. And I didn't like it. I didn't want to be associated with that. So while the Democrats don't necessarily stand for everything that I like, and I don't agree with them wholeheartedly on everything, and I will push back and I will stand for what's good for the people, regardless of whether the party uh, is voting that way or not, because that's what a representative of the people is meant to do, right? Like, we shouldn't have such drastic changes in policy depending on who's elected because you're still representing the same people, no matter which party you're coming from. And the power that these parties have taken for themselves is not helping the American people. It's not how we run a country. It's not how it's supposed to be. So, yeah, I'm running as a Democrat. I don't know what to say to people. People are going to be mad at me. But I'm sorry, I will not follow party lines. I just won't do it. Whether I ran as a Republican or a Democrat or an independent. This is the only way that I see me getting to the Senate to make the changes that I see are necessary for this country to thrive for another 250 years. And that involves accountability for our elected officials. That involves, quite frankly, term limits because I don't see any other way around it. We have so many corrupt people that are there just lining their pockets and working for themselves and worrying about reelection. Let me give it to you like this, right? Like you said, there is a way for us all to come together and figure out how to move forward as a nation, right? That's what we're going to have to do if we want to continue existing for another 250 years. We all live here, whether we like each other or not, okay? We're not ending anybody. So from the furthest of the right to the furthest of the left and everyone in between, we've got to find a way forward together. And we do that by having conversations with each other and then implementing policies that will work for people. Our politicians today, they don't ever do anything anymore. They just run on topics, right? They don't fix immigration because then what are they going to run on? They don't fix the voting. Like, okay, the right is really worried about voter fraud, right? The left is really worried about voter suppression. All right, take one bill, put it together, address it all at once. Yes, you have to prove that you are eligible to vote in order to vote. At the same time, let's make sure every single person is given the documentation necessary to be able to vote, whether they can afford to pay for that documentation or not, because anything less is a poll tax and that's unconstitutional.
Right, and they take some
Address
of
it all
these.
at once.
Both sides will take some of these issues like voter fraud or voter suppression, turn it into a conspiracy, get people riled up and mad, And then suddenly that's the issue, is that people are mad about it and nobody's actually fixing the problem. They're just talking
Right,
about the fact that they're accusations, essentially, just accuse, accuse, accuse. I absolutely
right.
agree. And so I know as part of your campaign, you are doing what you've been calling a listening tour. What's the point of that?
Okay, so it started, I've done it, I've been to a few counties already. And this was just me as an individual, right? Like I didn't have a campaign team when I was doing that. I was just I am going to do this. I am so fed up with the status quo. I'm fed up of being used as a political pawn. I'm fed up of people that don't care about us. So here I go. I'm going to do it myself. So yeah, I started it out. I went to Pratt was the first place I went to, and that was just a small town in Kansas, and amazing people there, and I will never forget them. And I actually still keep in touch with most everybody that I met that day. Went back out to Kingman County for a picnic with them. And I went to Fort Scott for a round table, and then I've been out to Montgomery County and Labette, and but we're about to kick off our statewide tour. We're gonna go to every county. It's starting the end of this month, and actually, we need help to fund it because we're gonna have to get to these places. So if anybody out there wants to shoot us a donation, that would be huge to help us get to the people, because I believe that every single person should have equal access to a person that's asking to serve them in this capacity. And so I want everybody to be able to reach me at some point, to be able to talk to me. And that's a lot of people contact me virtually, which is great, and I love that. And I intend to continue that even after I become their senator, because I want to continue working for them and representing them the best way that I can. And I want them to understand why I'm doing the things that I'm doing. So if I make a decision that they don't like, I'll explain it to them why I've done it. And if it means that I lose the next election, then so be it. I'm going to serve the people regardless of whether it's going to serve me or not, if
Well,
that makes sense.
I absolutely, and I like that you're heading out to find people, to look them in the eye and say, "Hey, what's going on in your community? What is affecting you? What are the things going on at the federal level that you're unhappy with, that you are happy with?" Instead of showing up expecting applause and taking off when things get a little tough. I know that you're great at listening to other opinions and taking them in and, seeing what you can do with them. Where are you heading? Where are you heading first on your tour?
I don't even know. Hold on. Let's see if it's on my calendar.
I've got your
Uh,
calendar too. I'm excited for the bean feed, but that's the local Democrats. But you're doing things aside from just Democratic um, meetings, right? You're doing your own stuff.
Yes. So I'm going to the Democratic meetings because they're important. And I recognize that, these are people that can really help and they understand what's going on and they've been around a lot longer than me in politics. And so I respect that. And so when I call out the Democrats, it looks like I'm going to Coffeeville first, actually, which I've been to before, but I'm excited to go again. That's going to be great. Um, what was this? Now I lost my train of thought because I got distracted by Coffeeville. Um,
Going to Democrats things because they've been
yes.
through this before. They know
So
what
when
it's
I'm
like to run.
calling out Democrats, I hope people understand. I'm not talking about the people that are volunteering their time that have been working so hard, especially the local people, because they put in a lot of effort and energy, and they've been let down too. So that's not who I'm talking about. And I want them to understand that I respect and appreciate their wisdom and what they do. Because they're also tied up. They're also bound by the system. But I also recognize that our nation is very divided right now. And if we don't find a way to start communicating with each other now, I'm afraid that division starts to become even more vast. Um, and so that's why I want to have my own roundtable discussions with people so that people that aren't comfortable going to the Democratic events can come to this. Um, and everybody's welcome to it, regardless of political party. If you want to come, debate with me and tell me that I'm wrong about everything, come do it. Let's talk. Let's figure the truth out together, and then let's figure out how we move forward together because I want to see this country thrive for the next 250 years. I really do.
Well, I love that you respect just everyday wisdom, everyone's wisdom, right? Everyone has wisdom. As the Democrats and the establishment, sure, in running elections and having been leaders, but moms and dads, they've got their own wisdom when it comes to raising kids, and doctors that
Absolutely.
have wisdom when it comes to healthcare. And we need everybody's opinion if we're going to work together as a community, if we're going to make things better, if we're going to all, be able to kind of raise the bar for everyone, or I guess,
Yeah.
raise the tide. Um, I love that. Well, I think we're starting to get close to time. Why don't we talk about some fun things about Anne that people might like to know? Like, do you have any pets?
I do. Okay, so I have a dog, Delilah. She's like 17 years old. So, but man, she is a trooper. She just keeps on going. And we actually recently got a cat. I hadn't had a cat since Veda was almost one. We lost my cat, Arlo. But now we have Bagheera. He's a black cat. He was 2 years old when we adopted him. And I remember I was like, don't y'all want a kitten? Don't you want a kitten? But my daughter and my son were adamant, no, this cat picked us. This is our cat. And I mean, he's just at home. We're his family. So,
Make
um, we love
make sure
him.
that dog can't get to that litter box.
She does try. She does try. It is, yeah, she does. I'm
Grody.
sure the world wants to hear that. Yes.
We can cut that. Well, how about let's see. Imagine it's a Friday night. What's your ideal way to have dinner and time with your fam?
Oh man, like we don't have like a routine Friday night kind of a thing. Sometimes we'll go out, but a lot of times we just hang out at home too, and maybe we'll watch a movie with the kids or something. So yeah, that's it. A lot of times I'll have one of my really good friends come over. It's honestly, she's like family. I call her my cousin because whenever I need anything, she's the person that I call. And her daughter is actually best friends with my kids, and so they're like family. They come over, and her daughter acts like she owns the place. So we might hang out with them, and yeah, that's it. Nothing extravagant. We're pretty low key usually.
Okay, last question, and then I'll let you get back to your busy day. Have you read any good books lately? Or
Any
have you
good
had
books lately?
time?
Well, so actually I got the Gita for kids. And I've been reading that. And actually I've been reading the Bible more, because some of the lessons in there are really, whether you're a religious person or not, right? Like there are lessons in both of these books that I have been able to utilize on this journey because this is something that I never imagined that I would do.
For
And
people who aren't familiar with the Gita, will you give the 2-second synopsis?
So I'll sound dumb if I try to give a synopsis, but
Not
it's the
what is
holy
it?
book. It's the holy book in Hinduism. My husband's Hindu, and like I said, I'm Presbyterian. So very familiar with Christianity, somewhat familiar with Hinduism because of that. But what I find really interesting is there's actually stories in both religions that are the same. So they have a great flood. They have um uh was it uh was it Krishna that was sent down the river and raised by a person that wasn't his mom, similar to our Moses, right?
Yep.
Um so I find that really, really interesting to see. And
I kind of find that comforting that there are so many similarities across belief
yeah,
systems.
yeah, it's amazing. And when I learned that, I was just floored by it. But um the Gita is just, it's honestly, it's wisdom. It's like stories that were handed down generations, and it's wisdom of how to live a good life. Like one of the things is that really stood out to me actually recently, and I shared it with the team, and I shared it with Nikhil when Nikhil was there to take care of his parents because his mother was diagnosed with cancer, right? So he'd gone to India to take care of her for a little bit. Um, and it just said, you don't get a say in the outcome of your work. You keep your head down and you do what's right and you move forward and you hope for a good outcome, right? And that's what I've really been trying to do with this campaign.
I like that.
I don't know what the outcome is. I hope to do good work. I hope to make a positive change one way or another, whether I win or not. But I try to keep my head down and do the next right thing and not worry about what else is going on. And that's kind of the Gita, right? Like it's a book of wisdom. It tells you great lessons for life. And the Bible has the same kind of lessons for people. And since I was raised Christian, obviously the Bible speaks to me really well. And I love studying Moses and Christ as really the authority on how we should live our lives. Because when you look back at what Moses gave us, the Ten Commandments, don't love money. That golden calf, it's money, right? Like we shouldn't be obsessed with money the way that we are. And to me, that suggests that these people that hoard money, if you want to find inherent evil in the world, that's where it is. People hoarding so much of the earth's resources when there are so many people struggling and suffering.
Yeah, at the
And
expense of their neighbors. Yeah,
yeah, to me it's just wrong. It's wrong. So yeah, and everything Moses gave us and everything Jesus gave us was to love each other. And actually, that's the one tenet that is always there across all the religions. And I didn't mean to get so deep in the religion thing, but it's do unto
great.
others as you would have them do unto you. And that's in every religion. Every religion tells us that. And to me, that is the most important thing that we can do.
I agree. I agree. Absolutely. Well, Anne, thank you. Let the golden rule lead you. Keep doing your
Thank
best
you,
work.
Kate.